This is a prayer of the heart, yearning for God's protection. It's yearning for God's protection from our sinful nature. We're praying for God's protection from ourselves and the pitfalls that Satan sets up to cause us to fall. It's not really a prayer of intellectual fervency. It's not really a prayer of high theological thought. It's really a prayer of God, in this moment, I need you. It's a prayer of God, I can't fight and win this battle on my own. It's a prayer of God, you said you would fight the battles for me. God, you said you would put a wreath of protection around me. God, I'm struggling right now because my spirit is willing, but my flesh is weak. And God, I need you to step in right now and not lead me into temptation, because temptation is calling me. It's like a drug, and I feel it and I hear it, and I'm almost tempted to go through with the temptation. But Lord, I know I got the victory in you. And if I stay attached to you, I can have victory. I know if I fight from you, I'm fighting from a place of victory. I know that in you, I'm more than a conqueror. I know that in you, I am created anew, so that these old vices that used to have power over me in my life, now in you, they have no power. I know that in you, I can have peace. And I need to be resolute when I pray. Lord, please don't bring me into temptation. But please deliver me from evil. Sometimes that delivering me from evil is delivering me from myself. Did you hear what I said? Sometimes delivering me from evil is delivering me from myself. Watch this. Temptation is your uncontrolled vices and desires appearing as reasonable options. Did you pick that up? Temptation is your uncontrolled vices and desires appearing as reasonable options. Right? It's not a temptation if it's not reasonable to you. I need you to understand this mindset. It's not a temptation if it's not reasonable to you. Right? It's temptation because it's easy for you to dip into it. Like I could dip in and dip out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, can I be real? It's temptation because you can dip into it and then you can slide back out of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, the enemy is not going to tempt me with a cigarette because I could care less about a cigarette. So you can't set up a trap for me with no cigarettes. The enemy will tempt you with something that in that situation and in that moment, watch this, this is important. The enemy will tempt you with something that in that particular situation and in that particular moment, I don't care where you've been and where you come from, how much scripture you could quote, how much praying you do, in that particular moment and at that particular time, it's reasonable to you. It's reasonable. Like, I might do that. So that's why he tempts you with it. He ain't gonna tempt you with something that you don't, you know what I'm saying? If you ain't into it, why would he tempt you with it? That's how you can identify what you struggle with. What he tempts you with is what your struggle is with. So that see, the enemy will tell you what you have to work on as a byproduct of what he tempts you with. Are you picking that up? The enemy will tell you what you need to work on based on what he tempts you with. What he tempts you with is an area in your life that you must deal with and turn over to God. Because if you had already dealt with it and turned it over to God, it would be no reason for the enemy to tempt you there. Because you've already overcome that situation. So if you haven't overcome something and it begins to, and the temptation arises where you're like, yeah, I know the Lord, but that thing, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's only one night. I mean, everybody's over there. I mean, I got my Bible on my phone, so at least my Bible's with me. You know, so I got the Gateway Bible app. Enemy is going to use your issues, the things you struggle with, as an emphasis of where he's going to attack you.